Hello students, I hope you are all doing well. Let's start today's lecture which is about the quadratic equations. Okay, quadratic equations. Let's start. First of all, tell me what is a polynomial. I hope you are all already aware of this polynomial, right? What is polynomial? It is an expression which consists of the variables, coefficients and non-negative integer exponents. This is what the polynomial, right? Let us write an example for this polynomial. Okay, let us write an example for this polynomial. That is 3x squared plus 4x plus 5. This is a polynomial. Okay, this is a polynomial. First of all, because this is a polynomial, because it is an expression which consists of variables, coefficients and a non-negative integer exponents. Non-negative integer exponents. So it is called as a polynomial, right? Polynomial. Now, what is quadratic? What is quadratic? Quadratic or quad means here in this polynomial. It consists of the highest degree of a variable in this polynomial is 2, right? Is 2. So this is what the quadratic. Okay, when the highest degree of the variable is 2 in a polynomial is called quadratic polynomial. Okay, is called quadratic polynomial. Now this is what the quadratic polynomial. Okay, quadratic polynomial. Now when I equate this to 0, when I equate this polynomial, this quadratic polynomial to 0, then it will become quadratic equation. Quadratic equation. Okay, you understand? Okay, let us define what is quadratic equation. Okay, the general form of the quadratic equation is, as I already told you, that the highest degree of a variable in a polynomial or an equation is 2, then it is called as a quadratic equation. Okay, then it is called as a quadratic equation. Okay, the general form of the quadratic equation is ax squared plus bx plus c is equals to 0. This is a general form of the quadratic equation. You understand? Okay. Now here what is a? This a, b and c are the real numbers. Okay, real numbers. This a is coefficient of a quadratic term, that is x. Okay, this a is a coefficient of a quadratic term is x squared. Okay, and this b is a coefficient of a linear term. Right? Okay, this b is a coefficient of a linear term, because why it is linear? Because the degree of the variable which is the coefficient of b, is 1. So therefore, this is linear. The coefficient b is the coefficient of linearity. That is x. It's power 1. Okay. And here c is constant. C is constant. Do you understand? Okay. Okay, let's take an example for this quadratic equations. Tell me, is this a quadratic equation? That is 5x square plus 6x plus 8 is equals to 0. Is this a quadratic equation? Is this a quadratic equation? Yes, this is a quadratic equation because it is a quadratic because the highest degree of the variable in the equation is 2. So therefore it is a quadratic equation. Okay, let us tell me that x cube plus 6x square plus 5x is equals to 0. Is this a quadratic equation? Is this a quadratic equation? No, it is not a quadratic equation. Right? Because the highest degree of the variable in an equation is 3. So it is not a quadratic equation. Okay. Let us take another example. That is 8x plus 3 is equals to 0. Is this a quadratic equation? No. Here the highest degree of the variable in an equation is 1. So it is also not a quadratic equation. Right? So I hope you understand the quadratic equation. What is quadratic equation? Right? Do you understand? Okay. Let us move forward. Next is roots of the quadratic equation. Roots. What is this roots? Hey, it is not the plant roots, plant or tree roots. Okay. This is the roots in the quadratic equation. Okay, roots, which is in mathematics. Okay, this is not the science. Botany. This is roots in mathematics. Okay, roots in quadratic equations. What is this roots means? A solution. The solution of the quadratic equation is called the roots. Okay, the solution of quadratic equations is called roots. Is called roots. Okay, you understand? Okay. For the better understanding, let us take an example. That is x cube minus x square minus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. Okay. Consider we will take let us take the roots. Roots are 2 and 3. Okay. When we put these values, okay, these values in this equation, then it will become 0. So that we can call these two are roots of the quadratic equation. Okay, roots of the quadratic equation. Let us substitute these 2 in the place of x. So here it will become what it will become. 2 square is 4 minus 5 2s are 10 plus 6 is equals to 0. Right? Is equals to 0. 4 plus 6 is plus 10. This is minus 10. It is equals to 0. When I put x is equals to 3, then it will become 9 minus 15 plus 6 is equals to 0. 9 plus 6 is 15. So plus 15 minus 15, it is equals to 0. So this is what the roots of the quadratic equations. Did you understand? Okay. Let us move forward for the methods of solving the quadratic equations. Methods of solving the quadratic equations. Methods of solving quadratic equations. Okay, quadratic equations. The first method is factorization method. Factorization method. The second one is completing square method. Completing square method. The third one is quadratic quadratic formula method. Quadratic formula method. You understand? So let us study the first, the factorization method in detail. Okay, let us start. Plus 2 is equals to 0. Right? Okay. The main thing here is in the factorization method, we have to split this 3x, this middle term in a quadratic equation by using the constant. Okay, by using the constant. Let us see that when we take 2, what is the factors of this constant 2? Okay, take 2 into 1, 1's are 2. Then what is 2 plus 1? It is 3. Here is 3. We can split this quadratic equation as x square plus 2x plus 1x plus 2 is equals to 0. You understand? Simply I split this 3x as 2x plus 1x by considering these constant factors. You understand? Okay. When I take 2x common here, the x common here, and I take x common here, it will become x plus 2, and when I take 1 common here, it will become x plus 2 is equals to 0. You understand? Now, here when we take x plus 2 is when we take x plus 2 common, we get x plus 2 into x plus 1 is equals to 0, right? When we equate this x plus 2 is equals to 0 and x plus 1 is equals to 0, here x becomes minus 2 and here x becomes minus 1. This is the roots of the quadratic equation. This quadratic equation. You understand? You understand the method, the factorization method? This ends this lecture. Let us solve some other problems in the next lecture. Okay. Until, take care. Thank you. Bye bye.